Well, I want to wish everyone a happy new year for 2026. And we feel this year is going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. And, we got to continue with some of these stories that's going on with the Somalis. Yes, the Somalis always got their stuff going on now, right? So they recently had this press conference, and I want you to check something out with this press conference. Just two little clips, because the Somalis, they staying on code. And it's actually pretty good to see how they're doing this. Not really the stealing. We're not talking about that, but just how they stay on code with each other about not coming out there and speaking ill of the groups. So let's go ahead and check these two clips out.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
And I do see some signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree, stop it. There are wait lists for these programs that are years long. There is fraud,
So I guess fraud is the bad word. We don't say the word fraud, right? But let's talk about the Somali, then we get to the folks. The little Somali woman that said that fraud is bad, you know what I'm saying? Just paraphrasing. Okay. Why she had to put her hand over her mouth? Let me tell you something. What I've been noticing about them is everybody else's fault. You're targeting them, holding them accountable, is attacking them. But not once are they coming out and saying, you know what? Yeah, this stuff is wrong. They're all holding the line. They all staying on code. I'm really noticing that. Because let me tell you something. This is Black Americans getting caught in this. I already know Black Americans. You have Black Americans come out and say, he did it, and we not like that, and him, and her. That's how we would have did it. I know how we are. We so quick to let white folks know that we not all bad, and it's just them. But with the Somalis, what I'm paying attention to, they don't care about we not all bad or whatever. They may make their comments, like Ilhan Omar may say, hey, we know a couple of Somalis did something. That's not the whole group. That's far as it goes. But notice they're not coming out saying, yeah, I don't know why he do that. But that's what happened in the Black American community. Now you would say, well, Phil, we don't want to be on code with stealing. That's not what I'm talking about. Because we're not being on code on things that has nothing to do with theft. Okay. But what I'm noticing is they're actually letting the police and the feds do their job and actually get them. They're not giving them up. You understand what I'm saying? And that part alone is what I'm paying attention to, because you're making investigations a little bit more difficult when people are not so quick to go run off at the mouth. They actually have to do their job and find out who did what. So they staying on code with that. Now let's get to all these white people that we're seeing. All these white liberals that you're seeing up there behind them. I remember when the Nick Shirley video was there, it was a white liberal showing up. Let me tell you something. With this kind of scheme that's been going on, you got to remember, they came to this country back in the early 90s, okay, 91, 92. They didn't know nothing about these programs. They knew nothing, okay? They were taught these programs by them folks up there. And knowing them folks and how they move, how would the Somalis know how to get involved with all this stuff they're doing if they wasn't shown? See, when you look at that Feeding Our Future case, it was a white woman in the middle of all of that, okay? White liberal. And the same thing that you would see once you start following the money, like they say, follow the money, because right now the light is shine on the Somalis right now and all the scamming they're doing and the things they're getting away with. But I want to know who the white folks getting the kickbacks, because it's quite funny that all the Democrats up there, how they quiet. The Democrat Party is so quiet about this. They're not saying nothing. And I also want you to pay attention to something else. Notice Black Americans are not behind them either. You notice we're not up there. You notice not even our bootlick organizations like the Urban League and NAACP. They're not even up there with them, right? Let you know that something is not right. So the Democrat Party is keeping so quiet about this, don't want to say much about it at all. Tim Walz is looking very dumb and foolish right now. He is. That man should resign. all this scheming and fraud and going on underneath his watch. When they be impressed about the issue, they don't want to say anything. Like, what is this? Then on top of that, they've been sending so much money to Kenya, and they said that they've been sending it like big crates of money. It ain't been really a whole lot of bank transfers, some, but they've been funneling a lot of money to Kenya. And they've been putting all that up in the high rises, and they've been doing a lot of real estate, these Somalis out there in Kenya. And the crazy part is they didn't even go put it in their homeland of Somalia, which is the crazy part. They wanted to set up shop and stay in Kenya. And I don't know why they did that, because Kenya works with the United States with law enforcement. So I don't know why you're going to do dirt here in the U.S. and go to Kenya. That's not the country to go to. You should have went to your homeland in Somalia if you wanted to get away with something. Because Somalia don't work with the United States on anything. Now, because of that, Kenya is being looked at with a side eye by the United States, and they talk about putting them on a gray list about the financial crimes and things like that, because they say they're too lax on with money laundering and things like that. But how would Kenya know? Like, I'm just in Kenya's defense, if they're bringing cash in. And usually you bring in that much cash, you're not going through the airport. I promise you that. Because if you was coming through Kenya's airport, they would like, hey, what's up with all this cash you got, bruh? So no, they were bringing it in fraudulently, and that's how they were doing the dirt that they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Now, because it's going through real estate, they were like, well, you should have been verifying the sources of the cash. Well, a lot of these other foreign countries, they're like, man, look, if you got the money to pay, it is what it is. In this country, they want to have a big paper trail of every dime you make. Not every country is that way, and a lot of times that's the beauty of other countries. They're like, hey, man, I saved my money underneath the mattress for like 12 years. That's where it comes from. But in the United States, you like go buy a property and say, yeah, that's why I saved my money underneath the no, you should have put it in your bank, and it should have been in your bank for so long. Like, why do I got to put my money in my bank? It's my cash. I saved it. It is what it is. I want to buy this property. But that's how I call it what it is. That's how oppressive this country is. They got to know every freaking thing you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you work hard all those years, cash in your 401k, cash in, let's say you have maybe some stocks that hit something. They got to know every dime where it's going. But with American people want to know where's every dime of our tax dollars, you have no clue of where that's going, right? So these people are staying on code to defend the fraudulent behavior. And the crazy part, you think they'd be scrambling about this? No, they're not really scrambling. They're like, I ain't worried about it. That's how arrogant they are, and they know that they got some tight knit community. On top of that, the folks are backing them up. Now, the Democrat Party is and this is why a lot of people look at the Democrat Party the way they do. Is because you're sitting up here knowing about the fraud. It's been going on, but Black Americans, you're so quick to cut them off from food stamps or Section 8. I mean, the Democrats will do it. It don't have to be the Republicans. But now look what happened. Now they paused all payments to child care centers from the federal government because of what's going on in Minnesota. Now they're saying you got to bring your receipt. You got to bring pictures. You got to bring all kinds of stuff now to get payment. Well, it should have been that way, actually. You know what I'm saying? There's not no more free money anymore. Now, let's see how long the Quality Leering Center is going to stay open when you don't get all the millions of dollars. But, they got so much, money through the Quality Leering Center that, hey, shoot, if you was getting a bag, millions every year, and you didn't go blow it all, I mean, shoot, you got enough money, you probably can close the Quality Leering Center and just go live your life in another country. 9 times out of 10 for them, it's going to be Kenya, because they're going to go out there to Eastleigh. But, yeah, they are completely on code, boy. It is a interesting dynamic to see the level of scams that's been going on in this country. But like I said, America, it serves you right. It serves you right because you sat there and imported all these people here, from a war zone. You imported them here and dropped them off. And now they're doing what they're doing, but the black Americans say, hey, we need to get our reparations in the form of cash payments. You got a problem with that. You got a major problem with it. And we just watching from the sideline. We ain't supporting none of it. We just watching because I want to see what's going to happen with this situation. And they're going to have to make a move. They're going to have to. But, hey, treat them like black Americans get treated. You know what I'm saying? Run down on them and start closing everything. Because, black folks have a little business and they ready to quick close ours.